Hey there, and welcome aboard Starlight Car, a Gamesline podcast. I'm Maverick, and I'll be your host. So, last time I was here, I had the chance to speak to one of the members of Holostars. Tonight, you'll get to hear a conversation in person between myself and cover CEO Motaki Tanigo, aka Yagoo, and cover CTO Ryota Aomi. We discussed the upcoming concert here in New York, alongside what it means for Hololive to exist these last 5 years, how the Vtuber scene has evolved as a result of that, and how Holoearth covers upcoming game project ties into those plans for longevity. This is an interesting opportunity I got to have, so please have a listen. As of September, it is going to be 5 years of Hololive English. Since that time, what have been the biggest successes you've noticed with this branch?
これは難しい質問ですね。
This is a very difficult question. I cannot point to one specific moment in time as the biggest success of these past 5 years, but since we started this branch to produce content for the US and the English-speaking world, we have had few big steps in the evolution of Hololive English, such as, well, the establishment of Cover USA. Now we're doing live shows in the US, and we even have brand collaborations with US brands with English EN talent. I think we have such very important big steps, big moments, but I cannot point to one specifically as the best.
Of course. Actually, on that subject, with the concert in August in Radio City Music Hall, you've also done work last year with the King's Theater. I was curious, what has been the experience of booking live events here in the United States?
I believe the biggest challenges were, one, since the US is so big, getting the fans together in one specific place, I think was a big challenge. And also the costs are much bigger than in Japan. So doing these shows in, I guess, in a business-minded way, in a profitable way, was another challenge. But the sizes of the venues have grown. We're now doing concerts in bigger and bigger venues. This is a big success, of course.
Definitely. Related to that, actually, and I think this is something that I think I've seen in spaces around just the conversation with how to still continue contributions as a fan. What has been the approach to expanding Hololive as a global product during the current financial climate here in the United States?
そうですね。まあ景気だったりあるいは関税だったりみたいなところのまあ
Yes, with the economic situation changing, and of course the tariffs are changing, we are really doing our best to provide services that are affordable and also enjoyable still to the American audience.
なんでしょう。魅力的なサービス、アメリカの方にとって魅力的なサービスを展開して、まあ行きたいなと思っていますね。
So, last month, I had the opportunity to hold a conversation with Josuichi Shinri of Holostars, and that was a really great experience. I was very glad to hear his perspective on a lot of the creation that he and the other members of Holostars do. I was curious, with the focus of a more global expansion, how do you see Holostars playing a role with Cover's future?
Yes, so we
まあ、
have
我々、
two big groups
まあ、
of
ホロライブ、ホロスターズ、2つ
talents
のグルー
under
プを
our
動かしてます
brand,
が、そ
Hololive
れ
and
ぞれ
Holostars.
非常に魅力
So
的
in
な
Asia,
タレン
male
トさんが
idol
所属
groups
して、
that are targeting a
い
female
う
audience,
プ
they're
ログラ
very
ムを
popular,
やっ
of
ています
course, in Asia.
ま
And
あ
Holostars also
特に、ま
hits
あ、ア
that
ジア圏におい
demographic.
ては、その
In the
女
US as
性向
well,
けの
I
男
see
性タレントさんというのは非常に人気があるんですけれど、
a larger
ま
acceptance,
あ、
a
この
larger
US のエ
popularity
リアとか
for
でも
such
よ
male
り
talent groups.
そういった
And I think that will grow in the
まあ
future as well. And I think
男性の
Holostars
タレ
will
ント
be
さ
a
んの
part
人
of
気っ
that
ていうのが、
growth
まあ、
as
高
well.
まっていく可能性があるのかなというふうには。
Well, I guess like following off of this focus, recently we have seen expansion of Hololive of Holostars, but like we've seen collaborations not only in the form of official brand collaborations in Kura Sushi or in Round One. We've also seen the concerts come up more often. We've also seen various talent be able to make appearances in conventions and provide a more personal experience to fans that way. What do you feel makes an effective collaboration for VTubers?
これはその
The most
我々
meaningful
が
kind
まあ
of
有意義な
collaboration
コラボレーションと
we
言っているの
feel
は
is the kind
ファンの
that
方同
brings
士
fans
が
together
まあつ
and
ながるようなきっかけになるような
brings the
コラボレ
community
ーション
together
というのは
and brings
まあ非常に
makes
有
them
意義な
socialize
コラ
with
ボ
each
レーショ
other
ンかなと思ってい
because
ます。
I
その
think
VTuber と
the
いうのは
a big part of the
まあ
recent boom and
COVID-19 の
popularity of VTubers
中で
was during the
人々が
pandemic,
結構
the
つながりたい
COVID-19
って
pandemic.
いう中で同
People,
じ
when
VTuber を応援
closed
している
off
人
in their
同士
homes,
が
they wanted
YouTube だったり
connections.
Twitch のコメント欄を
So
通じて
people
まあ
that are
仲良く
watching
な
the
って
same
いった
VTuber,
と
for
いうこと
example, they would
が
connect
始ま
over
り
the
なのかな
comments,
と思って
the
い
YouTube
ま
and
す。
Twitch
やはり
comments, the
これは
chat.
オンラインの場だけではなく
So there was that
オフ
kind
ライ
of
ンの場でも
text-based
ファンと同士
socialization,
がつながる場を提供
that
していくという
community
ことが
spirit.
結構重要だと思い
And
ます。
we really want to
まあこれがそ
bring
の
that
フ
into
ォト
the
クラブスだったり
offline world as
ワン
well,
さん
that
だ
sort
った
of
りとか
online
まあ
sense
い
of
ろんな
community into the
コラボレー
offline
ション
world.
だった
And
り
our
コンサート
collaborations
を
with
きっかけ
Kurazushi,
に
with
ま
Round
あフ
One,
ァン同士がつ
and
な
with
がる
other
きっか
brands
け
in
っ
the
ていうのを作っ
future,
ていきたい。
and our other endeavors in the future as well. I think we really want to provide more opportunities for fans to come together in an offline environment and socialize with each other to create a stronger sense of community.
What do you feel is an ongoing challenge in bridging that gap between the initial online connection, especially around the period of lockdown, into the current offline expansion? As was mentioned previously, realizing that the United States is very expansive.
これはまあその
So
やはり
when
B2B
it
って
comes
フェイス
to
トゥフェイスの
collaborations, for
なん
example,
ていうの商談
B2B
が必要っていうことが大きい
collaborations,
ですね。
business to business
まあ、故
collaborations,
にカバー
face to face
US
negotiations are very
持ち上
important.
げた
With game companies, maybe you can have
まあ
online
例えば同
meetings,
じまあ
but
まあゲームは
sometimes you find the cases that
オフライン
between
というかオンラインの
cover
話になっちゃうんです
Japan
けれ
and
ど
cover
あ
USA,
のゲームの会社さんとコラボレーショ
not
ンす
every
るのも
connection, not every
同じ
negotiation
会社
carries
さ
over
んでも
to the USA
日本
company.
の本社
So
とアメリ
some
カの
negotiations have to be
あ
done
の
from
会社さん
scratch
とでは結構ノウハ
over
ウ
on
を
the
そんなに
USA
共有し
side.
てなかった
So
りするので ゼロ
it's
から
very important to
商談する必要
kind
があっ
of
たりするので
explain what
やは
VTuber
り
what a VTuber
なん
is,
ていうか、
why
VTuber
it's a
ってどうい
good
うものでっていう
medium
ことを
to
ゼロから説明
collaborate
していく
with,
必要がある
what kind of target
まあ
audience we
ところ
have.
がま
So
あ
that sort of
まあ
negotiations,
課題では
face-to-face negotiations, business dealings, I think is a big challenge that we're still addressing. With negotiations, you need face-to-face business dealings, business connections, but with game companies, you can have online collaborations. But still, some aspects with some other type of companies, you really need face-to-face meetings and such. You kind of build those connections from scratch on the USA side.
What drove Cover to create Holoearth in terms of the what felt like was the necessity, and in terms of using Holoearth as an event space, what events are being planned for the future or considered for the future?
So, as partly mentioned before, during the pandemic, there was a need to watch streams, VTubers. There was the YouTube platform. There were VTubers on that, and Holoearth is the next step in that natural evolution, we believe. And people that are following and are supporting these VTubers, there was a desire to be in the same space, to meet in the same space, to go beyond the screen. And so Holoearth is something that will fulfill that need, fulfill that dream, and people will be able to meet their favorite creators in the same space. So this is a very easy example. As you can see, one of the VTuber talent is standing here, and there's a line here to take a photo with the talent, just like how you would have in the real world, how you would have a meet and greet. So now we can do that, and it's the actual talent, and it's the fans coming together with them. So, and this is a really new, a revolutionary kind of deep and immersive experience that other platforms are just are not able to provide. And we want to make it so that people are able to live in and off of this virtual world, meaning users will be able to create user-generated content. They will be able to create items that they can sell for real money. So people will be able to make real world money inside of this platform, off of this platform. So this is a virtual world that you can live off of. So we've created an ecosystem where users are able to license talent IP. They can create merchandise with that IP, and they can sell that for real money, which they will earn. But some of that, as royalties, will go to the talent that they're licensing. So this is an ecosystem where creators will grow and also the talent will grow. Everyone will be able to benefit from this ecosystem with real world money. So this clip is from a Fuamoko stream from yesterday, where they created an item midstream, and they put it on sale midstream, and people bought it, and that money, of course, they received royalties. Fuamoko received royalties from those sales, all happening in the stream. So already this ecosystem is up and running. And the next step of this ecosystem, this cycle, it's already happening to some extent. Items created by talent are made into real products in the real world and sold on Amazon. So this creates an even larger cycle that reaches out into the real world, where fans will be able to receive items made by their favorite creator in the real world, and they'll be able to wear them. I think the trend of metaverses were really limited to the virtual world, but we're focusing on experiences. So we're connecting these experiences to the real world and creating a much larger cycle, a much larger ecosystem that goes beyond the virtual world. And it is our hypothesis that this last link of the chain that connects to the real world is what has been missing or wasn't successfully created by other companies that are investing in the metaverse area. We believe that it's a universal desire, a universal dream for someone to wish they were in an animated world, or they could meet animated characters, anime-like characters. And I think Holoearth will fulfill that desire to a great extent.
Thank you very much for that. Pivoting a little bit from Holoearth, but still focused on games a little bit. Recently, the Hololive trading card game just released for the United States. And so I was curious, what was the process like to bring HoloTCG over to the West? And are there plans, currently, we notice that there is the want to collect, there's a big collecting component. Is there any plan for a competitive scene?
So
we launched the TCG in Japan last September, and we already have competitions that I also myself joined, actually. And these competitions are, just like the point I mentioned before, they're very important for fans to come together in the offline world to build a stronger community. And we really want that aspect of the game in the US as well. So we do intend to have competitions in the US for the official Hololive TCG.
Something that I hear come up a lot in this interview specifically as well is the connection between online and offline experiences and really trying to bridge that gap. Something that I think really speaks to that, also a recent development, Death Stranding 2, the appearance of Usada Pekora in Death Stranding 2, not only as the VTuber model, but also playing a character in the game. Not only, to take that next step as a character in that narrative. I'm curious, what is it like, or what is the plan moving forward for talent to appear in non-internet media, television, other games? Are there plans to develop that further from just this experience?
Of course, I cannot speak to future plans of such appearances by our talent, but this year has been lucrative in the sense that not only we have Usada Pekora showing up in Death Stranding 2, but we have, for example, Hoshimachi Suisei singing the ending theme for Gundam GQX. So we have VTubers showing up in other medium. In Japan, of course, we've already had Hololive talent appear in NHK TV shows, NHK being the national broadcasting channel in Japan. Of course, we would love to have our talent appear in US television as well. That would be a great thing. So the talent is expanding beyond the internet, and they're expanding to further mediums, to further worlds.
Yes, I think specifically about a while back, but back in the mid-2000s when on a David Letterman, there was an appearance by Hatsune Miku, and the attempt to bridge that gap back then, which I don't know if it fully landed for the full audience, but I would be curious, and again, if there are no plans at the moment, I do think that you find yourselves in a much better environment to have something similar occur for the future. I just have one more question, and this, I think, is something that really ties a lot of these pieces together, where Holo EN started back in 2020 amidst the lockdown, and just was really focusing on this idea of bringing people together. Not only did the experience with Hololive and Cover stateside begin there, but within the last 5 years, we have also noticed this expansion of VTubers in general in the United States and in other locations. There's a very healthy independent scene, especially when you notice any streams on Twitch or any streams on YouTube. There is a conversation around not just VTubing as one specific entity, but as an entire ecosystem. How does it feel to see the growth of VTubers as a subculture alongside the growth of Hololive itself?
This is a great, amazing, awesome thing. You just mentioned Hatsune Miku a minute ago. So Hatsune Miku is a software, right? It's a Vocaloid software. But in Japan, people that use that software, people that use Vocaloid, artists that make use of Vocaloid also became famous. There's the band Yoasobi, there's Yonezu Kenshi, so there are these artists that started off using Vocaloid and they become superb artists. So there was that ecosystem of Vocaloid in Japan. It didn't catch up to that extent in the US. I think the focus was always on Hatsune Miku as a character more than anything. So there was no Vocaloid ecosystem in the US, but VTubing is not like that. Now there's an ecosystem of VTubers, and now there will be great artists that maybe start off as VTubers and they'll become great talent, great stars on their own rights, and in the future, all of them, there are some already in Japan maybe, but in the US, in other countries, new names will pop up as part of the ecosystem, and we definitely will do our best to make sure that we are ready to support these amazing talents, these amazing artists that will be coming more and more in the future for sure.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciated having the chance to sit here and really see, what has been the growth these last 5 years, and I really appreciate getting to see your insight. And just like that, we have arrived at the station. Thank you again to Cover for this unbelievable opportunity. To find more of us, that's going to be right over at gamesline.net, patreon.com/gamesline, $3 for all of our content a week early, like Unlimited Railworks, our anime podcast. I was able to come back on the most recent one to cover what we had talked about for spring, leading into some summer watches, and also wrap up our watch of Gargantua of the Verdurous Planet. Our Twitch is Gamesline TV. We have shifted over to live podcasts over there, so you can always catch the newest episode of the Gamesline podcast every Sunday, where it'll be folks from the Gamesline crew, including new additions like Lily, Crystal, Jackson, and Nicholas. If you want to talk shop, hang out, you can also join our Discord at thegamezone.zone. The theme for Starlight Car is a super chill remix of Aquamarine by Magic Circuit, which is available off their self-titled album Magic Circuit over on Bandcamp. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.